So what we have here are two simultaneous equations, and what you're going to have to do is to solve for x and solve for y. Now, simultaneous equations, they're simultaneous because both of them, they both have the same value for x and y. So whatever the value is for x in this first equation, it's going to be the same value in the second equation, and we can use that to solve the equations. So the first thing really that you want to do is you want to number both equations. So we say we have equation 1 and then we have equation 2. We can just write it out. So equation 1 is 2x minus 5y is equal to 9. And equation 2 then is 3x plus 2y is equal to 4. Now, what you want to do is, the first thing you want to do is you want to get rid of one of the, so the first thing is really remove one of the variables. So what we mean by that is, like, you want to either get rid of the x variables or you want to get rid of the y variables. So how do you do that? Well, what you do is we can add these two equations together, and when we add them together, we want, let's say for example, the y variables to cancel each other out. So what you have to do is you have to manipulate both formulas so that the y variables in this case, they have the same coefficient or number in front of the variable but opposite signs. So for example, like what we want to do is we want to change this top equation so that this 5y is minus 10y, and then we want to change this bottom equation so that this 2y is plus 10y. And then when we add the two equations together, they'll cancel each other out. So what we can do is we can, in order to change the y variable, or the y term, we can multiply the whole expression by a number. So in this case, we want to change it to minus 5y, so we can multiply this top equation by 2. So we can just write it over here like this, so 2 multiplied by 2. So what that means is you're going to multiply every term in this equation by 2. And if we want to change the bottom equation to 10, we're going to have to multiply it, everything in the bottom, by 5. So that's what this just means, multiplied by. So then what we do is we multiply it out and we rewrite the equations like so. So equation 1, so we multiply it and rewrite it. So 2, and this is not x, this means multiplied by. So 2 multiplied by 2x, that's going to give us 4x. 2 multiplied by minus 5y, that's going to give us minus 10y. And then 2 multiplied by 9, 9 and 9 is 18, is equal to 18. So we've just rewritten equation 1. And then equation 2, we want to do exactly the same. So 5 multiplied by 3x, that leaves us with 15x. 5 multiplied by plus 2y, that gives us plus 10y, is equal to, and then 5 multiplied by 4, that gives us 20. So the next part then is what we want to do is we want to add equation 1 and equation 2 together. So we want to add these. And when we do that, we're going to get rid of this one of the variables, which is the y variable. So then you want to add equations together. So what will that look like? So we have 18 plus 20, that gives us 38, is equal to, so if we're on minus 10 and we plus 10, they'll just cancel out. So they'll cancel out, it's not going to be equal to anything. And then we have 4x plus 15x, that's going to be equal to 19x. So now what we have is we have a combined, so this is our combined equation, and it's just we can write it down here. So it's just, well, we can leave it like this. So it's 9, okay, I'll just write it here. So it's 19x is equal to 38. Now what we want to do is we want to get x on its own so we can work out the value for x. So we have 19 here in front of this, and this is 19 multiplied by x. So you have, so the operation is multiplication, the opposite of the operation of multiplication is division. So therefore what we need to do is, essentially what we want to do is we want to turn this 19 to a 1. So in order to do that, we have to divide it by 19. If we divide this side by 19, we have to divide this side by 19. And what we're doing then is we're solving for this particular variable, which is x. So that goes in there once, that goes in there once, and then 38 divided by 19, so 38 divided by 19 is equal to 2. So in this case then, x is equal to 2. So add together, and then what you're doing is solve for x variable. So that's what we've done. We've solved for the x variable. So now what we can do is we have the value for one of the variables in the simultaneous equation. Then what you do is you just pick one of the original equations that you started off with. So we can just pick equation 1, and then we can substitute in the value for x that we've worked out. And then what we can do is we can start to figure out what the y value is. So the next part then would be, so sub the value for x into equation and solve for y. So solve for y. So what we'll do is we'll pick this equation here, and I'm just going to move over here and work over here. So we pick, so equation 1, so that's equal to 2x minus 5y is equal to 9. So what we want to do then is we want to, and x is equal to 2. So we've worked that out. So what you're doing is you're substituting in the value into this equation. So, and you're putting, wherever there's an x, you're putting in the value for x, which we've worked out as 2. So it's going to be 2 times the value for x, which is 2, minus 5y is equal to 9. So now what we can do is we can start to solve for the y variable. So we multiply this out, so that's equal to 4 minus 5y is equal to 9. Now what we want to do is we want to get the minus 5y on its own. So we have plus 4 here, so we want to get rid of it, so we have to minus 4 from here, so that will get rid of the 4 on this side. If we minus 4 from this side, we have to minus 4 from this side as well. So what's going to happen is these will cancel out, and you're going to be left with minus 5y is equal to 9 minus 4 is equal to 5. Okay, so let's just scroll down a little bit, give ourselves some room. So what we're seeing is that minus 5y is equal to 5. Now we want to get rid of this 5, this minus 5. So what we can do is we can divide this by minus 5. Now you always want your y, you always want the y to be positive. So what we want to do is, so if we divide this side by minus 5, that will give us, it'll be plus 1y, and then we have to do the same on this side, divide this by minus 5. So what will happen is this is going to be equal to minus 5 divided by minus 5 is just equal to plus 1, so it's going to be y is equal to plus 5 minus 5, so plus 5 divided by minus 5 is going to be equal to minus 1. So then this is our x value, or our y value should I say. So the answer then, so our answer, x is equal to 2 and y is equal to minus 1. So it's this one here. And that's just a simultaneous equation, and it's how you go about working it out. So hopefully that makes sense.